Well, good afternoon. Happy Tuesday. If it's noon on Tuesday, it's time for Thinking Tuesday. So here we are when we take a few minutes, just a few minutes out of our day to review our thinking patterns and to determine if they're serving us well. Have you been doing that? If you haven't, it's worth your time. It's just a few minutes out of your day today. But every day, you want to take some time to check your thinking. See if they're serving you well. Are they helping us to become the persons we want to be? We would like to be? Are they taking us in the direction that we would like to go? And are they allowing us to live the life that we aspire to live? Ask yourself those questions. How is your thinking serving you? Yes, it all begins with how you think. The life you live is really, really rooted in how you think. Are you thinking positively? Are you thinking negatively? Are you thinking abundance? Are you thinking scarcity? All of that enters into how we live our lives. Okay, your mind is a garden and your thoughts are the seeds, and you can decide, yes, decide if you will grow flowers or if you will grow weeds. And that is our motto here for Thinking Tuesday. Make sure that you're planting seeds of positivity and not negativity. Your thoughts are always, always in the driver's seat. Whether or not you're aware of it, they're always in the driver's seat. So you want to check yourself so you don't wreck yourself, right? Because your thoughts are going to drive you. Where are they going to take you? Make sure that you're in control. But I cannot emphasize enough how much our thinking is at the root of everything that we do. It determines how we feel, it determines how we behave, and it determines the results that we get. So we are in control. And that's a good thing. That's a great thing. It doesn't mean that you have to spend every minute of every hour thinking about your thinking. No, that can become very obsessive. But tap into your thinking, tap into your feelings, tap into your results. See what's driving them. See what's driving them. And you'll be surprised that every time the results will be the same. It started with what you were thinking. So try to check in. Try to check in. It means that we can have absolute, absolute control of everything that we do if we choose our thoughts, if we're aware of our thoughts, and allow them to serve us in positive ways. That's something in our control, and that's good news. So recently I read a quote by F. Matthias Alexander, an Australian who is considered the father or the developer of the Alexander technique. And the quote grabbed me because it says, people do not decide their future. They decide their habits, and their habits decide their futures. And I thought, that's interesting. That's interesting. And many times we read things or we hear things and we don't really think into them as much. But when we stop to think into them, they make so much sense and they help us to put things into perspective. So F. Matthias Alexander says that people, you and me, we don't decide our futures. We decide our habits. And then those habits decide our future. And doesn't that make sense to you? Makes a whole lot of sense to me. You might ask, now, what does that have to do with thinking? And my answer, which I know you'd anticipate, my answer would be it has everything, everything to do with thinking. Because our habits are the results of our thinking. So we think, so we do. And our habits are formed by routine that we practice daily. We have routines that we practice daily. We should ask ourselves, well, what makes us do this? What is it that we're thinking about that causes us to do that? So our habits are created by our thinking. And habits become things that we do routinely every day. And can you imagine doing something routinely every day? That's a good thing if it's taking you in the right direction, but it's not such a good thing when it's causing you, limiting your opportunities, limiting the results that you get. So it's important to really pay attention to our habits because they really decide our future. So look at habits that people develop. Look at Simone Biles, for instance. Everybody knows Simone. She just got married. She's so happy. She's worked hard. She's developed some critical habits over the years that's made her the greatest gymnast of all times. You know, she has won so many medals, and this is because her habits are things that she has followed daily for years that's caused her to have the results that she has. All of us have habits, some of them good, some of them not so good. You know, our habits are formed by routines that we practice regularly. So we should really be aware of what those habits are and what thinking is driving those habits. The thinking might be triggered by a desire to become the best at what we like to do. As a coach, as a psychotherapist, as a speaker, I have habits that I follow every day to help me become the best that I can be in these areas. I also have some habits that I'm not so good at that I would like to get off my plate that I am working to get rid of because as you think, so you do. And if you're not doing things in a way that's going to get you where you want to go, that you have to find a way to get rid of those habits and replace them with better habits. So I practice some habits daily that help me to be the best that I can be. And every day, I see results. Results might not be exactly the way what you want to see them, but if you continue practicing those habits, if you can continue becoming aware of your thinking and how they're driving your habits, then you can look at the results. You have something to work with. You can tweak them, you can adjust them, or you can decide, okay, this is where I want to be. So be aware of your thinking and how they're driving your habits. On the contrary, some habits are formed out of negative thinking. Negative thinking drives our habits also. And the results can be seen many times in how people live their lives. They end up in a place that they don't want to be and they wonder, how did I get there? We get there by the way we live, by the actions we take, the habits we develop. So one of the habits that many of us can relate to in different forms is procrastination. Do you know that person? If you're not that person, do you know someone who has a habit of procrastinating, waiting till the last minute? You know, they might feel they work better under pressure, and sometimes that works, sometimes it does not. And we can see the result of that habit, which is a routine that's practiced regularly. We can see the results of that. It results in missed opportunities, for instance, to improve areas of our lives, missed opportunities for a possible promotion, maybe, missed opportunities for a successful relationship with our spouse or our loved one, our significant other. You know, missed opportunities for to begin that business that you've wanted to begin, missed opportunities to pursue that degree that you stopped pursuing earlier for whatever reason. Missed opportunities to, buy that new house, to start that new business. Procrastination leads to those kinds of consequences. And procrastination is a habit that we don't want to cultivate. We don't want to cultivate. So what opportunities might you be missing because of habits that you have developed that are not serving you well? Think about it. What habits have you developed for whatever reason that's not serving you well, that's holding you back? And the next question is, would you like to really get ahead of those habits and stop them before it becomes too late? The good news is that we can always intervene, we can always interrupt. But if we're not thinking, if we're not aware of where these habits are taking us, they continue to creep into all areas of our lives. And we wonder, well, how come I didn't reach that goal? How come I didn't become this person that I wanted to become? But it's not too late. Never, never too late. So I want to encourage you. The only way to do that is to examine and become aware of your thinking pattern. That's the way to begin. It starts right here. Always, always starts right there. And what led to the development of that kind of thinking? Is it fear of success? Because we might want to succeed, but we might be fearful of what that might mean, what that might look like. Is it fear of failure? Because many times before we even start, we begin to think that, oh, I'm not going to do that. That's not a positive mindset. That thinking creates bad habits. Is it limiting thinking? Sometimes feeling that we don't have the capability. Is it feeling that we are not worthy of achieving that goal? So we hold back, we shrink back instead of stepping forward. Is it faulty thinking? I don't have what it takes. That's for those other people. Is it that kind of thinking that lead you to bad habits so that you don't pursue your goals and you think everyone else is better off than you? You can be that person or more. In fact, you can be the person that you were created to be. Is it fear? Maybe a fear that your detractors might say or think that your efforts are in vain. They don't see it for themselves, so why is it that you can do it if they can't do it? Whatever it is that's led you to adopt those patterns of thinking and develop those habits that get in the way of your progress can be interrupted, can be changed. I want to encourage you to begin to think about that. What is it that you've been giving up? What habits have you been forming that's gotten in your way? We can get rid of that. And remember, I said we, because you don't have to do this alone. There are people who are willing to walk alongside you, to help you, to guide you. We must get a hold of our thoughts and think through the condition that we want to change, and then continue to think through activities. Because we're not just going to think, oh, I want to change it, but we have to think through the activities. For the last week or so, I've been working on an activity about thinking through pain to progress, thinking through pain to power. We have to think through what we're going to do before we do it, right? So, like I said, we must hold ourselves accountable for our thoughts and think through the condition that we want to change, and then continue to think through those activities that we want to use to create a new and productive habit to replace that old one that's not been serving us well, so that we can be, do, and have what we desire. Embrace thinking as your friend. So I want to get back. I want to get back to F. Matthias Alexander, who accidentally, by the way, became the founder of the Alexander Technique, which is used by many institutions, rehabilitation centers, by many actors, and many other professions. So, as a young man in Australia, where he was born, he was really developing a very promising career as an actor. And then he noticed that he was losing his voice, like I might be now. Excuse me. He realized that he was losing his voice. He was developing laryngitis. And he knew that he had to do something about it if he were to become the great actor. But he noticed also that his speaking on stage was very different from his speaking with his friends. His throat didn't get locked up when he was speaking with his friends. He didn't have that excessive stress on his voice that he had when he was on stage. It was a different type of pattern. So he started to think about what might be causing that. He went to several doctors, but no one could tell him what was at the root of that. So I guess he adopted a physician heal thyself attitude, and he started to think into what might he be doing to create that habit that was causing that excess stress on his voice that was really not present when he was speaking with his friends. So he realized that the way he was holding his neck and the way he was posturing himself was creating that excess pressure. So all of his friends and even some of the doctors became so amazed at how he was able to diagnose, think into what was going on with him, and how he was able to reverse that habit and develop a new habit by thinking into the activity that he was doing to create this new habit to move him forward in his career. But he didn't really continue to move into that career because he discovered something that realized that a lot of other people could use, and he was really encouraged by his friends and the doctors to begin teaching that method of thinking through an activity, thinking through a habit, to deconstruct a habit, and thinking through how you can develop a new habit to replace that. So he developed a way of thinking through the activity of speaking that really helped him to adjust his neck and his body posture, and his health improved dramatically. So over the years, that was refined and it became what's known today as the Alexander technique, which is used, as I mentioned, in a lot of teaching institutions and in a lot of professions. So, my question for you is, what habits have you developed that are not serving you well, that are not taking you in the direction that you would like to go? What have you noticed about yourself that's holding you back? And how willing, this is the major question, how willing are you to begin to think through how and why you might have developed that habit if it's not serving you well? Of course, if it's serving you well, keep on doing it, improve on it. But how willing are you to invest in thinking through how you develop that habit and how you can deconstruct that habit and replace it with a new one? Just think about things that you do, things that are occurring, ways in which you're not moving forward, and what's stopping them. What habit have you developed that may be leading you in that direction? Something that you can interrupt. You can interrupt and replace it with a new way of thinking that would produce a new habit, which is a routine practice, something you routinely practice daily. So I hope that this message has added value to you. If it has, as I always say, please share it with someone who can benefit, because we all have habits that need to be changed. We all have some habits that are not serving us well. So if you found this to be of value to you, share it with someone else who could benefit from it. Remember, I'm always available to help you think through some issues, some challenge that you find daunting or difficult to deal with on your own. All of my previous YouTube, all of my previous messages, I should say, can be found on my YouTube channel, Thinking Tuesday, Cheryl Burton. This one will be housed there for future reference as well. Feel free to visit my website, drcherylburton.com. See the programs and services that I offer there. And if you don't see something that you would like to have, feel free to contact me. You can contact me through my website. Again, that's drcherylburton.com. And I would be happy to offer you a 30-minute confidential, complimentary consultation to help you think through whatever that challenge is, to help guide you in the right direction. We all don't have all the answers, but the answers are out there. So avail yourselves of it. So you can also book me to speak for your events by contacting me through my website. Again, that's Dr. Cheryl A. Burton, drcherylburton.com. I hope that this has edified you. I hope that you will think through what habits are you developing or have you developed, and what kind of thinking has led you to develop those habits, and how much are you willing to invest in deconstructing that habit and thinking through how you can replace it with another, more productive habit. So I thank you for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday at noon for another message on Thinking Tuesday. So take care. Enjoy the rest of your day, your week. Remember, your thoughts are your lifeline. If you change your thoughts, you can change your life. Take care. See you next Tuesday. Bye for now.